Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. My name is Bernadette Desir, and I'm your host. And joining me today is Tywanah. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Bernadette. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I love the purple theme that you have. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. It's my favorite color.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us more about your name, Black Butterfly Goddess.
Black Butterfly Goddess, she is my alter ego. And she is who was born out of all the darkness of healing past childhood trauma and adult trauma in the last 2.5 years, which I've been on a fast track of, it seems.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. Where about are you tuning in from?
I'm coming from Virginia, the DC area.
Oh, okay, okay. That's awesome. Is the weather
Yeah.
cold there or what's the weather?
No, actually, it's a beautiful day outside. We're supposed to have high 80s this week. So it's
Oh,
a good time to get out and get walking and get
yeah.
moving and enjoy the nature.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've had lots of rain here, so the sun is shining for now and can't wait to enjoy it.
I know. We've been locked away too long.
Yes, we have. Yeah. So to start, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I am Tawana. I am an intuitive healer and psychic. Uh, fourth generation. Had to count backwards for a minute.
Mhm.
Um, I have come up with a company called Black Butterfly Goddess, and what I am doing is bridging the gap between this realm and the spiritual realm to help people on their healing journey.
Mhm.
So I am a psychic, I am a medium, and I do communicate with the other side.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yes,
Yes, you mentioned that you're fourth generation.
yes.
I'm assuming it wasn't too bad growing up because were you able to open up about your abilities in that sense?
No, my mother knew at 2 years old that I was psychic because I was toddling around the living room while she was in the kitchen cooking, like laughing, saying, "Pop, pop, you can't catch me." And then the phone rang and she got the call that my grandfather had passed.
Oh, wow.
So my mother knew then that I had the same gift she had.
Mhm.
But society, jobs, religion, family expectations
Mhm.
made me, forced me to keep it in the box in the back of my mind. It doesn't
Mhm.
exist, just kind of ignore everything going on around me.
Mhm.
But 2.5 years ago, after my spiritual awakening started, it became undeniably loud, and I was not allowed to hold my gift in anymore.
Mm. I'm so happy you unleashed it all.
Thank you. So am
Wow.
I.
There's so much power in that. I'm so excited that you among many other women
Yes.
are able to open up their gifts because I think it's been generations or since the beginning of time, women and even men are being silenced for their gifts.
Yes.
Right? People
Yes,
used to get burned for this and the deaths were so cruel how they died. And I
exactly.
know it happened to me in many, many lifetimes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have I only know that I'm fourth generation by communicating with
Mhm.
them, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I have my fourth grandmother back. Her name was Jerusha. I had never heard that name in my life before. And I'm sitting here one day and I hear a voice and hear a name, and I'm like, who's that? Never heard this name in my life. And
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
I'm like, mother, mom, help me out here. Who is that?
Yeah.
And I was led to go on family search and ancestry.com, and it was funny because she's the only one with a headstone with her name on it. My Gigi Jerusha, four generations back.
Yeah.
And so through communicating with them and getting to know them, that's where I learned that all of the women that I have come from, descended from,
Yeah.
have that gift but had to hide it. So I'm the only one allowed to show it. So it's great. It's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you define spiritual awakening to someone who doesn't know? I'm going through mine, by the way, and it's painful.
I would describe the beginning as excruciating.
Hmm.
Um, you want to turn back, but it's like you've come too far. You can't. You've kind of crossed over this threshold.
Mhm.
I would say the beginning is excruciating, but my thing would be if someone had come to me and said, just flow with it. Don't try to control it, just
Mm.
flow with what happens. It would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
But our minds, we try to control the family and control who's around us, and it
Mhm.
makes it harder. But the beginning is excruciating,
Mhm.
and it is not empowering in the beginning
No, it's
at
not.
all.
Nope, nope. I
You
had
feel
the
small.
yeah, yeah. I remember having the dark night of the soul. That was excruciating the first night because my spirit guides, they were doing something to my body.
Hmm.
So I felt I was in and I was out. I was hot. I was cold. I was sick,
Hmm.
and I felt empowered and terrified and small. Yeah. And my
It,
third eye, when it opened, I had the worst headache. Migraine.
yes,
It's not even a headache.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
I've
yeah,
had migraines return. I was migraine free for like 6 years, and I'm back on medicine for them because
yeah.
you
They're
know what you go through your dark night of the soul and your initial awakening, but you've got little waves of awakenings that come after that. So yeah, the migraine medicine has been a lifesaver because you wake up a couple of times a week with them.
yeah, yeah, aftershocks, after you have that earthquake. That's literally what I'm sensing that happens, just the
Yes,
aftershock of it. Yeah,
it is. It is.
yeah, yeah. So was there ever a time that you were absolutely terrified of connecting to the other side or whoever you were connecting to?
There was when I was probably 10, I had a horrifying experience
Mm,
with I'm sure, like many people describe the man in the wide brim hat, when they're younger, um, and how he was this dark figure that stood in the doorway.
mhm,
But and that's when I kind of was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, and I kind of fragmented and
mm.
didn't see for a while.
How has spirit come to you? Do you hear it in your head or sensation throughout your body?
It depends on what's going on. So if things are kind of calm and we're not on one of those waves,
Yeah,
then I can hear it audibly. When I'm out and about in public or around the
mm,
few friends I have or the one family member that I still talk to,
yeah.
it becomes a knowing and I will feel it in my abdomen.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
if anything is wrong,
Mhm,
it's like from my throat chakra down burns. If something is wrong, if something is not right for me, throat
mhm,
chakra, heart chakra, and sacral will burn.
mhm,
Um, so
mhm,
I get, those body sensations, but I can also hear audibly, or sometimes, if it's like a friend that's going through something, I just know. I just know that something is there.
mhm.
Um, so those are the three places that I operate
Okay,
for
okay.
the
Do
most
they
part.
come to okay, do they come to you in dreams?
Yes.
They do.
My guides do come to me in dreams. My ancestors talk to me in dreams.
Mhm.
But they don't have to do that so much because they wake me up between midnight and 1 no matter what time I go to bed.
Yeah.
I can't complain. At least it's not the 8 to 10 p.m.
Mhm.
because I used to get 1 hour of sleep. At least now I get 5. So I
Oh,
shouldn't
wow.
complain.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, for years and years and years, I woke up from around 1 or 2 or 3.
Hmm. Hmm.
Witching hours for so
Yes.
long. I think
Yes.
I've set boundaries, right? I said,
Yes.
Congratulations, you're not in human form, but I am, and I need sleep." So I just asked them to let me sleep. Have you set any boundaries similar to mine?
Yes, I have. For example, they're not allowed in the bedroom unless there's a like a dire emergency. The bedroom is off limits. I mean, I know they stand outside the window to keep guard and all of that stuff, but
Yeah.
the bedroom itself on the inside, unless something is terribly wrong that requires my immediate attention, the bedroom's off
Wow.
limits.
Yeah.
So when I get that gentle nudge that they want me to wake up, I'll come out into the living room, talk to them in front of their altar and, then go ahead and begin my day that way.
Oh.
But yes, we have that boundary. The other boundary is like if I've had a seizure, if it's not an emergency, let the medication take its course and allow me to rest.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, we've set up some energetic boundaries because I had to tell them, look,
Yeah.
you guys have your spirit bodies. I'm still in this meat suit and it
Yeah. Yeah.
requires
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, we've done that. We've
Oh,
done that.
good. Oh, good. Yeah. Can you tell us more, if you don't mind sharing, of your medical situation that's been going on or has been happening? And how did
Absolutely.
you heal from that?
Medical, you're talking about the epilepsy, the
Yeah, yeah,
seizures?
yeah. You mentioned seizures. Yeah.
I have not healed from my seizures yet. And
Mm.
there's two reasons why they won't heal me of two of the medical things that I have right now, which is seizures and I have a spine injury from a car
Mm.
wreck 20 years ago.
Mhm.
And because it's supposed to be used as a reminder that I'm not supposed to forget part
Mm.
of my gift. Part of my calling is to create a natural medicine for people in pain or who experience seizures.
Mm.
That's part of my purpose that they've given
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So they allow these two conditions to remain until that part of my purpose is fulfilled.
Mm.
So it's kind of like a reminder, don't forget while you're doing all these other things,
Yeah.
don't forget these people.
Yeah.
So it was triggered by a car wreck 14 years ago,
Mhm.
and no, 10 years ago. And I went 7 years without one, and then they started again
Mm.
the end of last year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to
So
hear that. Yeah.
it's okay. They made sure I've got an amazing my specialist here is so much better than my specialist was in Atlanta. They are very, accommodating. They make sure I have the best medicine available. She fought for me to have
Mhm.
it's a nasal rescue, to make sure that I can respond quickly. And that's like 5 grand a month. So I have a
Oh,
great
wow.
doctor who fought for
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had my fair share. I still continue to have it. Uh,
Hmm.
pain it changes people.
It does.
It does. It changes people. And yeah, you said that it's there as a reminder. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if what I'm going through, if
It's
it's a
similar.
reminder as well too. Yeah, yeah. Because
It
I'm
could.
schizophrenic.
Okay.
So it's very, I now can distinguish what's real and what's spirit. I don't
Hmm.
hallucinate or anything anymore. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think they've been going a little bit slower for me, my guides, and in connecting.
That's
Um,
great.
mhm,
That
yeah.
is amazing. So I do wonder if yours is not, you know,
Mm.
set kind of as a purpose type thing. You might want to ask them.
I feel that. I feel that.
Oh, okay. So then
Yeah.
you've got it, girl. You
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, because I'm talking and helping people with mental health and chronic pain and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The pain does change us. I am not who I was before
Mm.
that she was a head-on collision. I was sitting still.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's hard to be the same person when you live in agony,
Yes.
You
Yeah.
want to smile, but you can't smile all the time because you just want to scream.
Yeah. 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 It's painful. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So have you seen any of your guides, your spirit guides?
Yes.
All of them?
Um, Not all of them. No,
Okay.
my mother is the head of my spirit team. Um,
Okay.
and she introduces people slowly so that I don't get so overwhelmed. So, for example, I kept sensing a male presence here a
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, male energy, who's
Yeah.
this? Because I don't have a lot of
Mm.
males on my spirit team. And
Yeah.
you know, she whispered, "That's your brother." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. We can do that then. We can do that, you
Oh,
know, but
yeah.
you got to let me know when you're bringing people in, mom, you know."
Mhm.
So yeah.
Oh, wow.
She heads everything. My mother spearheads everything. She is in control of this boat.
Mhm.
She is always right here by my right shoulder, yapping away. Except for when I need her to answer questions, and then she suddenly gets silent. But yeah, she
Yeah.
introduces them to me over time so that, you
Mhm.
know, I can kind of get to know everybody and, you know,
Yeah.
just get comfortable with the energy.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I think my
Yes.
my grandfather's the head, because he passed when I was very young. There's no way I
Really?
could have remembered him. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I call it soul imprint. He's part of me, and I'm part of him.
I love
'Cause
that.
I would see him very young, and he's always the first person I think of and call on, and he's always there. Yeah.
Yes, so he is. He is. Yeah, my mom, she passed 25 years ago at the
Mhm.
age of 59.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
she always came to me, you know, after she passed, she came
Mhm.
to me a lot. And I think it's because she thought I didn't forgive her for not protecting me as a child. She didn't realize that, or she didn't recall that I told her before she slipped away, you know, before
Mhm.
she transitioned, "I forgive you for everything," and I meant it.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, she spearheads everything. My pop, my stepdad, and my brother are the three men you don't want to show up. So you kind of just leave their little girl be, leave their
Yeah.
little sister be.
Yeah.
Don't bring in any unnecessary drama because I cannot control those three.
Mhm. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, and also I've heard of, free will.
Yes,
I love that because we hold so much power, but often we don't recognize the amount of power we hold
we're
to.
taught not
Yeah.
to.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
We are taught in, especially in the US, we
Mm,
are taught to be afraid of our power, be ashamed of our power,
mm,
feel guilty about power, not have power, dumb ourselves down, dim our lights.
mm.
It all happens from kindergarten on.
Very young. Yeah. Programmed, reprogrammed, and programmed
Yes.
again. Well,
Yes.
I'm on a mission to deprogram, and hopefully other people can join me on that mission as well to just let
Exactly.
go, to let go. It's suffocating, isn't it?
It is, it is, and you don't realize it until you're on the other side of that line.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're so programmed to just work, do this, do this, do this, do this
Mhm.
every day that
Mhm.
until we come on this side of our spiritual awakening, we don't realize that we're literally throwing our
Destroyed.
power in the trash
Yeah, yeah,
every day, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I remember throughout my spiritual awakening, when I found out that I always had help, that guides were there and so many
Hmm.
spirit teams were there, I wept,
Yes.
wept in joy and happiness. I'm like, no,
Relief,
no, relief. Yeah,
relief.
yeah. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Really? I
This
have a
entire
guardian
time, they've
angel
been
and
right there.
yeah, but they know part of me is angry because when I was in the psych ward, that was a very, very hard situation for me, and I didn't feel much until I woke up.
It, psych ward will change you.
Mhm.
The United States has not done a very good job of it. They're kind of run like prisons, if you ask me.
Mm,
Um, when my experience, my spiritual awakening started with a suicide attempt.
mm.
So I've been there,
Me
and I
too.
know that there
Yeah.
those wards are no fun.
Mm.
Um, they
Yeah.
don't care about you. You're just insurance policy number, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they, you know, dope us up, fill us with medication, and then, you know, tell us to go home and act like we're normal.
Mm.
So from my heart to yours, I'm sorry that you've
Mm.
had to experience it too.
Yeah.
because I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you say to people who are waking up? They don't understand how to connect with spirit.
You connect with spirit, number one, by asking. The
Mm,
guides, the ancestors, even the angels are not going to introduce themselves until you give them permission to.
mm,
In most cases,
yeah.
I'll say if you don't have the psychic component of it, which you do and I do,
Mm-hmm.
but sit at night when the veil is thinnest and just talk. Give them permission.
Yeah.
Ask them to connect to you. Ask them to show you who they are, and they will.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice after that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but sit still, and it may take a couple of times before you really recognize the signs and things, the sounds and the sensations,
Yeah.
but they will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've seen one of my other spirit guides. She's a mermaid.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how beautiful.
Yeah.
So you
And
must have ties to Atlantis in a previous life.
I think I do. I can't swim, but I love water.
I love
I
water too.
absolutely love it. That's what my logo of the podcast is. It's really healing. So I was in between a sleeping state, an awake state, and
Mm-hmm.
I could hear whispers.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, boom, I saw her sitting on a rock with her
Uh-huh.
tail, very, very bright, beautiful orange red hair just pouring down, and then a sunset. And then that's all I saw.
Oh my God. I
I don't
have
know her name.
chills. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I literally have goosebumps. That
Yeah.
is so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know her
I
name. So it was just very pretty to see. I was scared and then I wasn't at the same time.
I found out I have a dragon, but I don't know its name yet, and I don't know what color it is.
Ooh. Can you guess I'm a dragon?
Huh?
I'm a dragon.
I believe you. I
Yeah.
completely believe you.
Yeah, I'm an alpha Draco.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're big. All right. I was reading about it of a lady who does Akashic records and all that.
Uh-huh.
Their head is and jaw is the size of an airplane.
Yes, they're
And they're
huge.
telepathic, very, very strong and yeah. Mine is
Yeah.
healing and it's a purple turquoise kind of
Mm-hmm.
color mine is and pink.
Oh my God. How beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I found out in my Akashic reading. That's how I found out in my
Yeah.
Akashic reading that
Yeah.
I had a dragon.
That's
And
really
so
cool.
yeah, so I've been really busy lately, so I haven't done the meditations to connect to them, but I have them to go ahead and, do them
Yeah.
when I'm ready.
That's really cool. Do you
Yeah.
know if you're from Atlantis or if you're a dragon?
I know I am an Indigo 3 child from Orion.
Okay.
And I do have ties to Atlantis somewhere back there, but I haven't connected yet.
Mm.
So the only starseed family, the only thing that I've connected to are the beings in Orion.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool. That's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
awesome. Yeah. Um, yeah, can you talk a bit more about, excuse me, domestic violence?
absolutely. I went through a very toxic situation right before. This is what prompted my suicide attempt.
Mm,
Um, didn't know I was being abused because he never hit me. So I'm thinking this relationship is just, what it is. He's saying this is always my fault because I did this, and now we've got this issue. So for 2 years I was yelled at, belittled, demeaned, screamed at, um,
mhm,
kept awake to the point of almost triggering a seizure. Um,
mm,
for 2 whole years. And I had come up to DC. My sister lost her life partner, my brother-in-law, I call him my brother-in-law. They weren't married.
Mm-hmm.
They had been together for 20 something years. So I came up to DC from Atlanta to, help her with the burial and everything and help her get through it.
Yeah.
And when I flew back, my body alarms were going off. My stomach was in knots. Everything in me said, go to your house.
Mm.
Because, we had separate places, but I always stayed at his house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I really don't want the argument if I go back to my house. He's going to be mad. And it's, what are you hiding? And so I let him pick me up from the airport to
Mm-hmm.
my own detriment, even though I knew I should have gone home. And I tried to get in the car excited and I said, I forgot how great DC is for education, because when I lived there, and I said this specifically, when I lived there, I never took the opportunity to go to the museums or the sites
Yeah.
because I worked for White House appointees and was on call.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on call. When you work for White House appointees, you're on call 24/7. If
Yeah.
they tell you to come back into the office at 4 a.m., you have to. And I've had to. So I made sure I said that first, but apparently that just went over his head. And
Oh, wow.
the car got cold after I suggested that we bring his son here for an excursion because his son is remarkably intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the chill in the car and I'm like, oh God, what did I say wrong? So the hour drive home, it's quiet. We get home, I go to hug him. He does one of those things, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be a long night.
Wow.
So something in me told me to hit the record button on my phone.
Yeah.
And I recorded the whole argument because I needed to know I wasn't losing it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And at one point in the argument, I just get up and walk and go to bed. The next morning, he comes in the room and he's ready to start the argument back up. And I walked over to the dresser. I had just filled my sleeping pills.
Mm-hmm.
I walked over to my dresser and swallowed them with a whole bottle with coffee and vinegar. And then I put on my sweatshirt while he left the house because his response was, oh my God, now I have to go get you Ipecac
Mm.
to, induce nausea and things. And I just went and laid between some trees and, you know, went to sleep and
Mm.
then woke up at the hospital a few hours later. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the abuse that goes on at the hands of a covert narcissist,
Yeah.
the way my counselor described it is she said it's like prisoners of war, what they go through, the psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's real.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when there's no bruises or broken bones, people don't really believe you.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I never told anyone that what happened with him. I never really shared the fights and things that were going on behind closed doors. Um, Now I share it openly because I don't care anymore. You know, I want to save my fellow women who are going through this
Mm.
from possibly ending their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. You're not alone.
Absolutely.
And I honor you. I admire your strength and just
Thank
a
you.
powerhouse that you are to step out because there are people waiting and I know you've been helping people. Maybe you know those people, maybe you don't. That's the beauty of healing, right? Those are my cats going wild.
That's a good
Every
thing.
time I have to record, they do that. They do that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, but that's the beauty of healing. And thank you for sharing. And
Absolutely.
that it's not physical. That is the misconception that society has.
Hmm.
Abuse has to be seen.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we don't always have to see it. We don't
No,
always see it. And just because we don't see something doesn't mean it's not there.
exactly. Exactly.
Just like
And
mental health.
right?
Right? I have that. Can put it
Perfect
down. No.
example. Perfect example. You can't see it.
But
You
it's
cannot
there.
see it. And there's so many women, not just women. I don't want to say just women because men can be
Yeah.
abused too.
Yes, yes.
My specialty is helping guiding women through it.
Mm-hmm.
So many don't speak out because they don't think they're being abused. They think they're losing their minds.
Mm-hmm.
With the gaslighting and
Mm-hmm.
all of the stuff that goes on, the flying monkeys and,
Yeah.
the people that they gather on their side and
Yeah.
everything else. It all plays its part. And
Mm-hmm.
as my ex-therapist told me, it stays in the nervous system. It took this full, I would say my nervous system did not return to normal probably until this past December,
Oh.
where I stopped jumping at everything, where I stopped freaking out at everything, where I stopped apologizing for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That healing occurred probably November, December timeframe.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You're not alone. I grew up in a household with lots of abuse as a child. It
Hmm.
was my dad towards my mom. So I don't know. I can still visualize everything she experienced. And
I
uh
did as well. And unfortunately my kids did.
mm, yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately they suffered at,
yeah,
me choosing people who were not
mm,
good people
yeah,
to be partners.
yeah. Well, it's a healing journey, it's a process, and that's what makes us human. We have to fail
Exactly.
and able to succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it didn't happen, how could you be helping people and talking about it?
You can't.
Yeah, that's how I see my health diagnosis. Every time I want to trip and go into a space that I've grown out of, I have to
Hmm.
remind myself it happened for a reason.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like that, where we literally, when we have these thoughts, we negate it with a different thought. It's literally a 24-hour loop that our mind is doing, to
Yeah.
recognize, okay, I have this thought and this used to be my pattern,
Hmm.
when this version of myself was running things, now I know we're not going to think that way. We're going to change this, or, we're going to switch our energy or transmute it or alchemize or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Um, it literally happens like that, which is probably why all of us are so tired.
Yeah, I'm always tired.
Oh, every healer I know, every spiritual person I know is exhausted. I made
Yeah.
a joke on Facebook 2 weeks ago and I said I didn't know, and they said I went through a spiritual awakening. That mean I'd be awake for the rest of my life.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. I'm always so exhausted. Yeah.
Uh-huh. We
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Let's talk about losing people that we love, people that we thought would stay that left. I've
Hmm.
had my fair share, but let's hear from you. Who left?
I have everyone that I was close to in my previous life, including my children, have I have either asked them not to be in my life anymore, not my children, ex-friends,
Hmm.
family members, I've blocked family members, but the most painful was when my children decided they didn't want to be in my life anymore.
Mm,
They're all adults, they're
yeah.
all living on their own, they're all healthy, they're all doing well. So, we've got that. And they are three of the most remarkable women to ever grace this planet.
Mm,
Though they are, I'm so proud of them,
yeah.
so proud. And I cannot imagine the strength that it took for them to say, I can't do the toxicity anymore.
Mm, yeah.
Because it drags them down too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm very proud of them for being so brave.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't hurt. That
Mhm.
would be a lie, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but I can say that number one, they don't know me anymore. I'm not toxic mom anymore. I don't operate the same. I don't talk the same. The only thing that's the same are my physical attributes.
Mhm.
Um, but as far as my thinking is concerned,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's completely different from what it was 2.5 years ago. So if they got to know me now, I think they would love me again.
Yeah.
But for now, I allow them their space. You know, the phone is open.
Mhm.
Um, we send business texts like, I renewed the Costco membership so you guys can still use it.
Yeah.
um and for now I accept that all of our actions have consequences, and whether I intentionally brought them into my toxicity and my trauma or not, the fact is they were still brought into my trauma, and that's not fair.
Mm,
So they have a right to feel the way they feel right now and ask what they've asked, and I just step back and give them their space.
mm,
But if they're all still on emergency bypass, which means if this phone, even if it's on silent, their ringtone comes through. So
mhm,
if anything ever happened, I'm right here.
mm,
I still send cash apps and everything for birthdays and Christmas and all of that.
mhm,
Um, you know, just to let them know I do love them, but I understand where they are and I respect them.
mm. Yeah,
I really do.
yeah. Thank you for sharing. So
Absolutely.
many of us are facing very similar situation. Some of
Yes.
us don't talk
Yes.
about it because it's either from shame, guilt, or whatever else we may be experiencing. I've experienced the very same thing.
Mm.
Very similar, not my kids, but sibling stuff.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah.
I refuse to be ashamed or guilty anymore. The last person that I needed to have a serious conversation with in December
Hmm.
was my sister, who had, you know, lost her partner. She lives a couple of miles from me.
Yeah.
And she was the last person I had to stand up to last year. And in our conversation, I said, you know, I'm sitting here holding on to all this guilt and shame from the family secret while you all lived your best life.
Mm,
And that's not fair anymore. So I told her, I said, I'm going to speak out about what happened in our family. I'm going to be speaking about what happened in my life. And I really don't care who doesn't like it. That's on them. But I was dying full of shame and guilt. And
mhm,
I couldn't do that anymore.
mhm,
So I finally tried to trigger her memory because she says she doesn't remember, but you know, that's also a trauma response.
yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, I disclosed to her again
Mhm,
for the first time in 30 years about my father impregnating me when I was 15. And I'm like, do you remember when I had to go live in the group home when I was 15? And she's like, yes. And I said, that's because I was carrying my father's child. It's not her dad. We have different dads.
mm,
Um,
mm,
so that was my last person that I had to stand up to
mm,
and use my voice to get my throat chakra to open. She was the last bit of fear that was kind of gunked up right here. And
mm,
since then, I've been openly sharing my story because you know what? There is some girl out here, you know, somewhere in internet land who
mhm.
is feeling that guilt and that shame.
Yeah.
And it's not ours to carry. We have nothing to feel guilty or shame about. It's them.
Mhm,
They should feel guilty and shameful for their acts. They are despicable and disgusting.
mhm, mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yes, guilt and shame have played a huge role in my life. And I released that in December. I said, no more. We're
Mm,
not doing this anymore.
mm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
You're one strong woman, that I can
Thank
say.
you.
I see
Thank
I
you.
see myself in you. I do.
We're a reflection of each other, my sister.
Yes, I do. Absolutely do. The butterflies, the colors, the energy. Uh
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. I
You
see that.
you're a fierceful lion, coming from just not being able to open your wings as a butterfly or coming out of the cocoon period and to be able to open your wings and to fly. Oh, I'm sorry. That is that's
You, I'm crying because you called me a lion and my mother is a Leo. My mother in spirit, she's a Leo. So it just means that she's revealed herself to you
she
in
did.
this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm teary, because it's a
Mm,
good thing. I'm
yeah.
not sad at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just, you know, sometimes this journey gets hard. and you need a little something to keep you going, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was what I needed. So I thank you. I
Yeah.
thank you so
You are.
much.
I just didn't jump off my seat. But that's what I could see. After you share, I saw a massive lion, bigger than
It's
our
our
earth lion, just maybe a white lion, and just roaring. And when it roars, everything respects its roar because it communicates and it shakes and it vibrates at a
yes,
frequency that people don't always get, and that's all right. Yeah. You
yes.
have unleashed. Oof. Hence the name of the podcast. You have
I love
unleashed.
it.
And
I love it.
yeah, you have found your voice. I love that you were talking about the throat chakra.
Hmm.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about the chakras? If it
Absolutely. The chakras are our energy systems. They're the way we connect to spirit and source. And unfortunately, being an earthling, and especially if you live in the US,
Mm,
we are taught to live out of our root chakra, which is the guilt, the shame, the fear, the anxiety, all of the other, you know, what are perceived as negative emotions. No emotions are negative, but you
yeah,
you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
We're taught to live out of that. That's where the money comes from, and the greed, and all of that comes from our root chakra, which is red. Then you go up into the sacral, and that's our erogenous zone, and that and my throat chakra were destroyed. They were completely blown out, is what my Reiki lady said, because of my father, silencing the voice,
yeah.
and then our sensual pleasure center.
Mhm,
Mine were destroyed. Then we have the solar plexus, which is yellow, and that controls like confidence and things like that. So and then we come up into the heart chakra, and we're supposed to always operate out of this space. So if it feels good right here, and you have no alarms going off in the digestion center, the reproductive organs,
yeah.
it's the decision to go with.
Mhm,
Throat chakra, very important for most of us. A lot of us are silenced, a lot of us are.
yeah.
And it's so funny because even today, I'm like, ooh, I've my throat is sore. Like I was speaking on on the incest and things yesterday, and I'm like, that's why, every time you speak on it, it gets a little bit sore.
Mhm,
Um, but it's what keeps us in bondage.
mm, yeah,
And then we've got the third eye, which is actually our first eye, and it's the eye we should operate from.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and that's connected to our pineal gland, which unfortunately calcifies because of all the fluoride and stuff we're given, and then we have to chip away at it to get it to see again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the crown, which is where we receive all of our messages, that's a indigo purple color.
Mm,
The third eye is a dark blue. The throat chakra is a light blue.
yeah.
So once we're in alignment,
Mhm,
no matter what's going on in our life, we can find peace
mhm.
once all of that is aligned. And people would look at my life today and be like, how do you have peace? Your kids don't talk to you. You stay at home most of the time. You're not in a relationship. You're not interested in anything. You're a hermit, but no, it's because I'm aligning. Everything is aligning with source. So once you're aligned with source,
Yeah.
everything going on around you is just noise.
Yeah.
It's just something that you have to flow through.
Mhm,
So I know, like, being in alignment has helped me to change my mindset from why is this happening to me to, okay, this happened, there's a message somewhere in this, let's find it.
yeah.
That's what happens when you're in alignment. You go from the victim mentality to, this is a lesson, what is it teaching me, and how do I pivot and flow with this energy,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know
Yeah,
so that's my
yeah,
30-second
yeah.
chakra spiel.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember when I first my spiritual awakening when it started, I would see lots of colors. I would look
Hmm.
at the wall. I look at
Yes.
colors. I wasn't hallucinating. For some reason, I'm able to tell. I haven't hallucinate with mental health stuff at all.
Mhm,
I'm just
mhm.
able to tell. And sometimes I know things. How do I know it? I don't know. I just know it.
It's clairsentience, you just
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
just that knowing.
Yeah. And my chakra was, they were just completely stagnant. So
Mhm,
when I was looking around, I saw a wheel spinning, and that was the
mhm,
my chakras that started to go. For all
mhm,
those years, nothing was happening with them. And I know
mhm.
for sure this is open, the heart is open, the throat is definitely open. I gotta oops sometimes. And then the crown is very, very open because one of my spirit guides told me to work on closing it because of all the stuff I've been getting. That's
All
what
the downloads, they get
yeah,
overwhelming.
it does.
My
Yeah,
Reiki lady, we were sitting on Zoom and she's like, I've never seen a light like this. She's like, your crown is just, she's like, I've never seen anything like
yeah.
this. And I'm like, well, show me. What are you talking about? I want to see. Turn the camera around. I want to see too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but the crown, the downloads, oh my God. Sometimes I just have to ask them, can we slow it down? Can we please just slow it down? I'm
yeah.
not asking you to stop them. I'm just asking them to slow down today. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't have my fruit today. Slow them down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think everyone should learn about the chakras, to be honest.
I agree. They all serve a purpose.
Yeah.
And
And
you can
yeah,
tell
yeah,
how you're out of alignment. You can it's easy to pick up on, okay,
yeah,
where do I need to, focus
yeah,
after you learn about them.
yeah. And as I was reading a book about chakras, I'm looking, oh, the survival part. Wait a minute. I felt
Mhm.
abandoned, abused, molested. What else? Oh,
Mhm.
the other part. In school, I was told to shut up and be quiet, listen to the teacher, and respect my
Yes.
elders and parents. And then the
Yes.
gut feeling is, oh, you're stupid. You don't know anything. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Right? And then the heart, I don't know how to love because that's how so and so told me to love, right?
Mhm.
So all of it can be impacted. And there are so many, I try to do some spiritual stuff to everyone so they can get it. So I don't go into
Mhm.
too much details. But if you break
Mhm.
it down into family, survival, people are like, yeah, I get that part.
It's easier. It's
If you
easier.
tossed in energy, aura, colors, like, wow.
What are you talking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
about? You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Is there anything that we need to touch on that you'd like to talk about?
Um, no, I just want to tell any of the viewers, number one, you're loved. You're needed in this universe. You serve a purpose. All of us do.
Yeah.
Um, if you ever feel alone, reach out.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
this world needs us.
It does.
This world needs people like me and my sister here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
I'm not one of those falsely positive people. I have my days where I cried yesterday afternoon.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
we have our days where, they're not so great, but learning again how to flow with it, because
Hmm.
months ago that crying spell would have turned into 2 weeks in the recliner,
Hmm.
instead, cry it out, get it out.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. Who else can I help today?
Yeah.
Um, and that's been my thing. Who can I help today? Who can I be of service to
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
Because that's our purpose, is to be of service to each other, and we all have these amazing gifts.
Hmm.
We have to tap into them.
Yeah.
And you're quite tapped in.
I
I
think
love it.
so.
No, 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 you are. You
I think
are.
so. Yeah. I've seen
My
quite a lot.
mother, she keeps saying beast mode. She's like, she's in beast mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know how like in video games when you get super strong, they call it beast mode. That's what my
Yeah.
mother keeps saying. She's in beast mode. She's in
Pretty
beast
much.
mode.
Yeah. 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 I'm not stopping. Yeah. I'm still nosy. I want to know more, you know?
Hey,
They need to
look,
tell me
while we're
more.
here, we might as well learn it all, right? While we have to be here
Yeah. I know
until
I
it's
don't,
time
yeah.
for us to be gone.
Yeah. I don't want to come back and learn the same lesson. So,
My Akashic lady laughed so hard. because she says, "Is there anything you want to ask the keepers of the emerald tablets?" And I said, "Yes. Can you tell them I'm not coming back?" And she started laughing. She's like, "It's supposed to be a question." I said, "No, tell them this
Yep.
planet is ghetto. I'm not coming back here."
Yep.
And it was so funny because the keepers of the emerald tablets through the meditation told me, "Well done, you've cleared your family's karma."
Ooh.
And it was funny because once I heard that, no person's opinion of me mattered.
Mm.
Not one person's personal opinion of me has mattered.
Yeah.
When you've got the guardians of the galaxy pretty much saying,
Yeah.
"Well done."
Yeah.
You don't get those words often. And so she said, "No," they said, "This is your last incarnation. You're an Aquarius. It's your last incarnation. You're off to
Yeah.
go somewhere else after." I was like, "Okay, because I'm not coming back here.
Yeah.
We're not doing this
Yeah.
again."
That's awesome. Well, I keep
Yeah.
coming back. So I've been here since the beginning, since the breath of the earth. So here
Maybe
I
this
am.
is your last one too.
Maybe. I'm more than an old soul. That doesn't even
Hmm.
describe my soul. It's beyond
Ancient.
old. Ancient.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
they call most dragons, ancient ones.
Hmm.
They've been
Hmm.
around for so long.
Yes. Since the
Yeah,
beginning of time.
pretty much. Yeah. And I just keep coming back, and I still don't understand some people sometimes. Just the stuff they do, the stuff they say. I'm like, I'm gonna send you some light. I'm not there to tell you how to do what you do or violate your free will, but
But
at the
here's
end,
some love and light.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's this world has gotten undeniably cruel in the last 4 years, especially.
Hmm.
People
Yeah,
are undeniably selfish and cruel now.
yeah.
We're seeing things that I never thought we would see in this lifetime.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but there's people like us planted here for a reason to, uplift as many souls as we possibly can. And as long as we're here on a mission,
Yeah,
we have to fulfill it.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's two questions I have for you as we wrap
Hmm.
up. The first one is, what is the meaning of life for you?
Purpose,
Mm, I love that.
purpose and love.
Yeah. Awesome. And the
Everything
last,
else is secondary.
yeah, I love that. The last question is, where can my listeners find you and support the work that you're doing?
Blackbutterflygoddess.com or Black Butterfly Goddess on any social media platform.
Mm, wow. Thank you so much. What an amazing episode this was. You see,
Thank
guys,
you.
that's why I do what I do. I don't get paid cash for it, but on a soul level, you can't pay for what we just did. You
No,
just can't. You can't buy
no,
it. That's the
it
power of the soul. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
possible.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Thank
being.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Keep shining. Don't let anyone
Thank you.
dim your light ever again.
We won't.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
our last mission here. We won't.
Yes. Thank you.
My pleasure.